Beast Game Season 2 is out!
Wait, I have season on the brain because Ben said season, but that's not actually what I was trying to say. 2026, first episode 2026 of
Yes.
Funsie. Ben and I are here right now. Mr. Miller may join at whatever point. Being a dad, it makes it difficult to plan ahead. Benner, how are you doing? I mean, last time that we talked, it was 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. No, dude, I think we've been averaging one Funsie episode a month. I think it was November 11th, then December 11th, and then now it's January, whatever, 7th or 8th or 9th or 10th. No, it's like, I think, if I were to guess, it's like the 6th. I don't know, though.
Yeah, solid. We're still doing it. Yeah. Hey, we're a little bit ahead of schedule for this.
Yeah.
Where do we even dive in? Where do we start in? So before, I love that I asked that question and I immediately have something to. So, anyways, point that I'm trying to get to. I got to hang out with Broad finally, and in it he said, "Dude, I love what you guys talk about, but please don't talk about current news that every single other podcast has talked about. I promise you, they've heard it from every other pod." And that 10 minutes that you actually spend talking about that stuff, everyone just rolls their eyes and is like, God, I don't care. This one goes out to him. And we'll try to do our best to not talk about whatever news is going on. I mean, we'll use our own discretion with that, I suppose.
Yeah, I feel like we've always been
the people,
pretty...
point being, they want to hear about...
I feel like we've always been pretty good about that, though. I feel like that's kind of what Funsie is. We just talk about... I know when we first started, we tried to cover events, but I feel like Worlds has happened and we're just like, yeah, Worlds happened. Anyways, so.
Yeah. I think it's because we referenced Kristen before. We talked about Aaron Gossage, like that situation before.
Okay.
Those sorts of things that people are like, I get it. I already know.
Yeah.
So we'll do our best going forward. I don't know if that is reflective in our entire listener base. Maybe some of you do. I mean, hey, let us know in the comments. Like that's being able to hear from you guys makes it helpful. We have things that we want to talk about, but feedback from you, it helps us put on a better show.
I do want to say, like
Ben,
sorry guys that we're like intermittently doing Funsie. It's not because like we're like, oh, we don't feel like doing Funsie anymore. It's just like with everything going on, we're just
I can't stand
super busy. But during the disc golf season, we're gonna start to post regularly again, and I'd so much go to say that we probably might start posting weekly again. I don't know. We're at least gonna do every other week, but we might be able to start doing weekly again. It's just like right now it's just chaos for me, chaos for Josh, chaos for I don't know why the off season has been so busy. Where maybe because it's like during the season we're all in our flow, like we all understand, like like okay, Tuesday's Funsie night, but like for some reason it's just been really tough. But once I kind of get over that expo hump and all that, I know for me personally, we're going to start grinding it again and going back to the funds you guys know. And hopefully, honestly, like my goal would be to start doing it weekly again because we know how much you guys enjoy it. So just bear with us in this time. I know we give that caveat every single episode, but I do want to let you know that this year we're going to pump out the content and it's going to be a great time. But what are you going to say?
No, it does mean a lot. No, exactly what you said, Ben. See, this is the tough part after giving this entire beginning caveat is Robbie C put out a video saying that he's stepping away from doing full-time content creation and his contract with Foundation Disc Golf. I feel like that's not really something that's going to be talked about a ton in like mainstream
not at all.
disc golf media. No one has really like analyzed it aside from just the video. And a lot of the things that we talk about on here are like content creation and the more behind the scenes aspects of disc golf and working in disc golf. So I feel like we'd be doing a disservice if we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, I think let's talk about that. I think that is a good topic because I think like he kind of said in his video, I watched his video. He was saying like how like people like Overthrow and Jesse, they pivoted from YouTube, like they started YouTube and then did their own thing to be sustainable and make money, like Josh from the coaching and Jesse with manufacturing, which is both of their goals at the same time. And I think Robbie said he's stuck with YouTube, and I think Um, I think it's just one because he is a kid, obviously, but I think yeah, the disc golf. I mean, we see with everyone the disc golf views aren't like they used to be just because of the boom, and I can see how like it can be a struggle. Like when Robbie, like when he first started, Robbie was like the one of the only YouTube channels doing it, and he was getting like I don't, he was getting a lot of views comparatively, you know. And so when you see that kind of like
Yeah.
start to go down, 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 and not any fault of his own, obviously, but also I think it's also like we're starting to see more content creators, so it's starting to get more saturated. Like I said, when Robbie was one of the only ones, the new disc golf, like Jesse and Overthrow. When I first go, those were like the three. Like obviously you had the dynamic disc with Danny Lindahl, but like even that was at the tail end of it. But
Hmm.
now we're seeing like Jay Millie, Bonanza. We're getting some new content creators in the space, a bunch of new ones that I, honestly like Broderick, okay, a bunch of new ones even that I probably don't even know. So I think with that too, like, you know, the market is starting to get more and more. Obviously, there's still a huge gap and there's still need for content, but I'm just saying, like, I can see how that can be a struggle supporting a child when, you know, disc golf content isn't kind of like the same as it used to be monetary wise for everyone. Unless you're like Foundation, which they just keep pumping out content and keep getting great views. So like stuff like
Hmm.
that.
Yeah, the Robbie, like what he's got going on, like there's so many layers to this. I mean, there's not. He's putting his family first, but I mean, in terms of the things that he talked about in that video are things that I think every, not even disc golf content creator, just content creators in general, talk like that's what they struggle with is how often do I want to do content that I think will do well versus what I want to be doing. And for anyone that didn't end up seeing his video, he pretty much said it got to the point because a lot of his livelihood is tied to YouTube and the views that he's getting and monetization on the platform. He ended up making videos that he knew
Yeah,
that the
distance.
audience would want, like a disc golf audience, especially from like yeah, like a coaching perspective. Everyone wants more distance. It doesn't matter if you're a beginner or nearly top level person. Like everyone's searching for more and more distance. Very clickable. But I'd also imagine how many times can you put out the same video, especially like your one perspective, and then after a while, he's making videos, and I think these are all valuable. So take this with a grain of salt. But he's making videos about like, hey, maybe play smarter and lay up, and it's like it's hard to compare a video like that that is really helpful information for people trying to improve their game to at the time Josh went to go play disc golf down in Puerto Rico, and it's like you know, it's hard to if you only have a limited amount of time at night to watch a video, chances are more people might go for that as opposed to the like the layup video. And these are examples that he gave in his video. And
Well, I think
yeah, it sucks. Like
I think
go
another
ahead, Ben.
reason too is because like Robbie C, I'd say is like, and I've said it before, he's like he catered more towards beginner. He was like the beginner type of YouTube guy. And there's in all industries, and I'm gonna give an example. There's this dude called Yammy Noob in motorcycling. When I first got into motorcycling, I binged his videos because it was all about picking the right bike, how to drive, my favorite bikes, da 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 da, all beginner stuff. But then you graduate,
Mm-hmm.
and it's like that stuff doesn't. Then you're like riding for 6 months. It's like okay, that stuff doesn't really apply to me anymore. But the reason Yami Noob is so successful is because there's millions upon billions of new motorcycle riders. I think kind of like that churn in disc golf because he was more so focused on beginner. I don't think there's much as churn as in like when it was like COVID, like there everyone was a beginner. You know what I'm saying? So now we're like disc golf's still growing and it's more at a more kind of like sustainable pace. Now it's not like boom, but I think that like once people graduate from those type of beginner videos, it's like he needs more beginners to come in, and I personally don't think the influx is as much there as it was, and I think that's a kind of another reason why it might have been a struggle because you know, like you said, when you're like I've watched I binged Robbie C, and then once I know the layup tutorial, it's like or feel comfortable in my game, it's like, I don't really need to look up those types of things, if that makes sense. And that's for everything.
Hmm. Yeah, and I feel like a lot of you made a lot of really good points there, Ben. I think there's also, with less people coming in, I think that type of content might start to struggle, and it seems like disc golf YouTube is starting to slowly make its way towards more modern styles of
Hmm.
YouTube and like what is sought after. I mean, as far as like thumbnails and even just how clickable something is, you have to earn the attention now, and it's not just like front nine and back nine video, like
Yeah, yeah,
the
there's
typical
more
meta for
creative.
like a lot of pros, and like those do well. But for listeners that have been around for a long time, a lot of these pros can get away with that because that's what they bring to the table,
Yeah,
is like a pro's
100%.
perspective, as opposed to these lower level content creators. Yeah, you gotta earn it, man.
Yeah, I yeah,
But yeah, I mean,
perfect. I think that was perfectly said. It's like, yeah, I think it's kind of like a disc golf renaissance that, like, kind of, it's harder to get views. You kind of got to be on top of your game to get those views, because like there's just so much more. It's getting elevated. It's kind of like what you saw with Mr. Beast. Like, as corny as it says, but when Mr. Beast first was in the game and getting millions, it's like, and they call it the beastification of YouTube, because like he cracked this code and he made like kind of like the
mm-hmm,
precedent of the quality and the whatever way higher, that like now like everyone's like it's basically like you're on everyone's YouTube channel is a reality. You have a whole team behind you, a project, like no longer are the days of like just like a dude himself just filming and recording. Like all the big YouTubers have like a whole team, and it's like basically a TV show esque. So it's like it's just great, and
mm-hmm.
we're saying that with YouTube, like when Bonanza came in and he started that, and then Josh, I think, is a huge proponent of that, just kind of like that step up in quality. And then we're seeing like, okay, he gets 100K views by doing these beautiful kind of thumbnails and storylines. It's like, oh, like, so then slowly everyone starts to rise to that, and then everyone eventually will have that Josh type of content, and then it's like, what's next? And then so like I think that is what we're seeing. It's like, yeah, you can't just post front nine back nine. You got to kind of be creative and consistent. I'd say that's kind of like disc golf YouTube as of right now, creative and consistent.
Yeah, I want to wish all the best to Robbie, and I know I can guarantee that was not an easy decision. I can tell that he put a lot of his heart and soul into the things that he was making. Mr. Miller,
Yes.
he has
Yeah.
joined
Well,
us.
he's still
He's
making
a
content, which is super
Apologies.
cool. So, uh, like, so that
exactly.
now, yeah, I think it's just like at the end of the day, you gotta put your family first, and I'm excited to see the kind of like what he comes up with as like, this side, having it on the side and seeing like, what comes of it. I'm excited to see.
For
Yeah,
someone
I
that's
saw
go
he
ahead,
he
Josh. Yeah, go ahead.
posted on his story today that he was working on his first video back.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
Right.
I'm excited to see
I
that
think
one.
I, I think he even edited the one that was the video explaining the entire situation. And for someone that claims that they're not very good
Yeah.
at editing, I thought that video was great. Like
Yeah,
the
it had a lot of
same,
editing
if
on it
not
for sure.
better, than the previous edits that he's had for like the last couple of years.
For sure. I completely agree.
Yeah, Josh, do you have any? I mean, you could tell we were talking about Robbie. You have any thoughts about the announcement or things going forward?
Yeah, I'm not shocked. You know, I've talked to Robbie a little bit in person and, heard him mention the story that he mentioned in the video about someone being like, "Oh, Robbie, can't wait for you to start posting again." And I don't know. I have a few feelings about the YouTube algorithm. I think they have done a really good job honing it in to like promote stuff to people that they want to watch. But I do feel like the YouTube algorithm does a bad job of like like if someone doesn't show interest in one video from a channel, I feel like YouTube values that too heavily, because in my own algorithm and in people's I've talked to, it's like I'll use an example of Simon. You know, my opinion of his videos is I used to watch every single one of them. When he started doing tournament videos, I wasn't quite as interested because, you know, it wasn't like trick shots and like the silly, goofy ideas he had. And so I didn't watch like one or two of the tournament coverages that he did. And then it was months before I saw another video from him, and it was when I saw it on his Instagram story, and I like went and looked, and he had been posting, but my YouTube algorithm hadn't been pushing him to me. And so, you know, kind of going back to what Robbie said, I feel like that hurt Robbie because, you know, his content is targeted towards beginners. And so once someone is kind of past the beginner phase, they're not as interested in watching, you know, a beginner tutorial. And so like his content stops getting pushed to those people because they don't watch every single one of his videos. And so I don't know, maybe YouTube's working on this or it's already implemented and I just don't see it, but I feel like there needs to be some sort of like content bucket or playlist you can add certain style of videos to so that they get pushed to your audience even when they're not interested in everything. You know, like I obviously have a few different series of videos that are appealing to some people but not appealing to other people. And so, you know, I'm worried at some point people are going to not watch one of my videos and then YouTube's just going to be like, all right, they don't like Jay Millie, even though they might still like Jay Millie, you know?
Well, I think it's
Yeah, you're
Yes.
good. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
recording resumed. Okay, we're back. All right, I laughed because I said the same thing about the beginner thing, the exact same thing. But Andrew Manginelli, we had him one time, and he was like yeah, no longer the days are like YouTube, like people look in their subscriber box, and I'm like, at the time I was like, huh, like I look at my subscriber box all the time, like that's crazy. He's like it's more so about attention on like the homepage, like seeing like what, and then just recently, like within the past year, I'm realizing like, holy crap, I haven't looked at my subscriber box once. That used to be my go-to. Who did I subscribe? I didn't even watch the people I subscribe to. I'm literally just looking at the homepage, seeing what's popping up. And they do such a good job of when you open up YouTube, opening up a reel, and then you don't even realize you're scrolling reels, and then you're like, wait, this is not even what I came here for. So it's just like, it's just crazy, like how YouTube has changed, because before I only cared about my subscription box because like that was all I wanted to watch. Now it's like I'll be subscribed to someone, and it won't even pop up on my like homepage. It's like the weirdest thing.
Hmm.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sajko.
You think like the platform has changed in the sense that maybe they had those things at the top, like your subscriber box, so that you could like see it. It seems like maybe at the time, YouTube prioritized like, hey, these are the people that you like, so here are all these new videos from people that you like to try to keep you on the platform for as long as possible. Now it seems like they're just like, I don't care what keeps you on the platform as long as possible. We're just going to keep throwing you things that you've shown interest in just to keep you here. Like, because maybe you lose interest in like the things that you're subscribed to, or you keep seeing the same things over and over, like just keep you on the platform at whatever cost. That's my guess.
I think it's pivoted away from. I have two theories, you know, like I talk a lot about how I like to think that I've proven myself to my audience that it doesn't really matter what I post and people will hopefully watch and know it's going to be a good video. I still will always believe in that. I think that's a thing. But I think that YouTube has gone towards like, used to, you could just post a video and because people were subscribed to you, they'd watch the video like a movie. You know, when you go to a movie and decide to sit in a movie theater, you're watching it. You know, it's very rare that people walk out of movies. But on YouTube, it's like especially nowadays, you click on a YouTube video and you get 5 minutes in, you're not interested. You go to a different YouTube video that you like more.
Oh, real,
And I
bro.
think it's
I'm
the
like watching reels mid
yeah,
YouTube video. It's like crazy
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
it's there.
You're
And
cooked.
I feel like it's the same.
You're cooked.
I feel like it's the same thing with people you're subscribed to versus your homepage now. It's like used to when you subscribed to someone when you were like, oh, like I like this person's content. I want to watch all their content. And so that's what YouTube would push you. But now it's solely based on like what you're interested in and what YouTube thinks is a good video to promote to you. And so like you have to, as a creator, sorry, not as a consumer, every single time you're making a video, it has to be sensationalized. It has to be packaged. It has to have a good title and a good thumbnail and a good video, you know, and used to that didn't have to be as important. It was like once you got people in the door, you know, subscribing, they would most of the time watch most of your stuff. It's just not the same anymore, you know, and that's kind of why I take making my titles and thumbnails so seriously and hoping that like every single time it's something that's captivating enough to people that they're going to click on it and continue to click on it. Because like I said, I don't want someone to not be interested in one video or not be interested in 2 videos in a row and then YouTube's like, all right, they hate Jay Millie, I'm never feeding them Jay Millie again. Because like I said, that's my theory of kind of what happened with Robbie and, you know, what has happened with some other creators as well, especially in disc golf. And yeah, I don't know if you guys saw it, but Chantel Budinsky kind of did something similar today as well.
I saw
I saw that
something.
she made a post stepping away from Prodigy, but I didn't know what actually that meant.
Yeah, what
So
did the
she,
video
like,
say?
I watched the video. It's pretty similar. I guess it's pretty similar speculatively to what happened with Robbie. Because I don't know. I'll caveat this to the viewers. I don't know anything about how his contract was set up. I don't know, you know, I haven't talked to him about that. My speculation is just Foundation wasn't willing to keep paying him because his views were faltering, and then the views obviously weren't generating enough revenue for it to make sense as a full-time job. And essentially that's kind of what it seemed like happened with Chantel, Miss Frisbee's. Like, I think she probably was getting a salary from Prodigy, but Prodigy was like, hey, we're paying you this salary, but in terms of like the plastic you're moving, it's just not even comparable. You know, like no sane CEO or person running a company looks at someone like Miss Frisbee's and is like, oh, I'm going to get a 1-to-1 return. You know, we pay them $30,000 and we want to make $30,000 in disc sales off of them. No sane CEO is like that because that just doesn't make sense. Like, she's doing a lot for the brand in terms of publicity and other things besides just moving plastic. But they would like to see like half a return, you know, or like like pay them 30 grand a year, make 15K, like direct ROI, and then chalk the other 15K up to like just marketing and all that jazz. And so my guess, you know, she didn't talk.
Is this what she said
in this video?
In the video? Or are you just speculating?
So what she said in the video was like talking about, I guess, Colin or someone who used to kind of be in charge of Prodigy or did stuff for Prodigy, and talking about how her 2-year deal was great and she was really happy with it and she wanted to stick with Prodigy because she was like, Will Shoestrick has done a great job and I was liking where the brand was heading. But then when I got my contract in my inbox, I was just like shocked at the number. And it was like talking about they were asking for her to do more for less money. And so my guess is like, you know, if I had to guess, she was getting a salary over the last few seasons, maybe a decent one, maybe a mediocre one, whatever. And if I had to guess, Prodigy was like, hey, we're paying you this salary, but we're not seeing this ROI. So, you know, talking to Will a few times, he's a very smart guy. And, you know, talking to him, he seemed to imply, you know, like, I'd like to see half a return on whatever kind of salary we're paying our players. And I would guess that he wasn't seeing that with her. And so she pretty much was like, yeah, I wasn't comfortable taking that deal. I'm not going to be on Team Prodigy. I think she's doing I couldn't completely understand from the video. Maybe I'm just dumb or wasn't paying attention fully. I think she's either doing one more full year of tour or like something like that. I know she's not like done posting videos or anything and done competing, but she's kind of taking a step back. And so like that's what I kind of was implying earlier when I said I wasn't necessarily surprised by Robbie C, because it's just like this year is like Discraft cutting Aaron Gossage, cutting Corey Ellis, or I don't know, stuff. I think that's public. I don't know. I don't think I know anything that's not public, but you know.
Yeah, that's public. I mean, I don't know about the Aaron,
cool.
Aaron and Corey is public. I'm pretty sure. At least Corey announced it. I think
they're
Aaron's
public.
just more so public in the sense that they're like selling his disc for 35%
Everyone's
off.
talking about. Yeah. Well, okay. Long story short, everyone's kind of, you know, even Discraft a heavy hitter. Yeah, and so it's like the market's obviously kind of adjusting to COVID not being popping as much anymore. We kind of thought it had adjusted last year or even 2 years ago. Seems to still be adjusting. And so I think we're going to keep seeing that, you know, like I think potentially even next year, you know, there might be even more people taking a step back. And I say that as I fully quit my job like 2 months ago to do this. So
I know, crazy.
Hey, we're gonna be the reason it explodes again. So don't you fret. But yeah, that's my thoughts on it for sure.
We're chilling. Yeah, I know there are talks behind the scenes of certain players in years past that have had contracts that are way larger than you could ever guess in your wildest dreams. And to think that some of these players, obviously I'm not going to say names, to think that some of these players were making this level of money, I don't know if that's how good it actually was during COVID. Like just the boom and like there's all this free money to like throw around and hope that you see some sort of return. But now it's like, hey, no, we have to prioritize. Like, we can't just be like throwing this money out there to like help. And I know like disc golf is kind of like buddy and we're helping each other, but it's like, yeah, at the end of the day, these people have to make sure that they're making a living and like pushing the brand and doing all like the smart moves. So I think that's what we're going to start seeing.
The major sponsors in our sport are disc golf retailers and manufacturers. And so the only way they make money is selling discs or baskets or whatever they do, like back end to sell stuff. And so, you know, if you're not capable of moving the needle for them, at least for part of your salary, it doesn't make sense financially for them to be investing money in you, you know? And like sometimes it's like a long-term play. But where disc golf is right now, it's like there is no money, you know? And like I bet, you know, I don't know these talks you're talking about, so I feel like I can speculate a little bit more. But like I bet signing those players to those super lucrative deals, it was like, oh, if disc golf keeps exploding like this, we want this player on our roster, so we're going to overpay to keep them and just bet that it'll keep growing. You know, like I doubt it was like we're doing so well right now, this is a reasonable salary to sell or to buy this player or whatever, I don't know, buy this contract or whatever. And so, yeah, you know, I think it's going to have to look like manufacturers cracking down on people moving plastic. I think it's going to have to look like the sport growing and more plastic moving in general if we want to see sponsorships get back to where they once were. Or more money coming from Vessies and, you know, other brands outside of our sport. Worlds. Were you guys talking about this at all yet? The Worlds announcements for Michigan?
Oh, we haven't. No.
Okay. I saw in terms of like ticket sales, they've already sold 120 grand in tickets. That's nuts. That's super cool. And then in terms of like the sponsors they have for the event, they had like First Form, they had Vessi, they had one other one that I was like, what? I didn't even know that brand was interested in sponsoring disc golf. And so I don't know how much of a priority it is to like manufacturers, but I really think that manufacturers should be going out of their way to talk to other brands outside of disc golf and being like, hey, how can you step into disc golf and sponsor this player? And, you know, we're sponsoring, you know, take Discraft for example. What if they were like, okay, we can't pay Aaron what he wants, but instead we'll pay him half of what he wants and talk to Vessi about covering the other half, you know? What if it worked like that? I would want to be sponsored by Discraft. I would be hyped about Discraft if they were on my behalf like that. So, I don't know. It's an interesting time for sure. We'll be able to look back on this time and be like, oh, that was the dark ages. You know, now we're booming. And
do we think that for players, the only thing that matters now are disc sales? Because for the longest time, it was like promote the brand through posting consistently, performing well, doing all of these different things. Do we think now it's strictly just, hey, don't care if you sell frisbees, then here's a nice big contract?
Yeah, I don't think that the brand, I mean, at the end of the day, if you're moving frisbees, the brand will pay you a lot of money, you know? But I do think that, yeah, now it's going to be like, hey, you got to move at least half your contract in frisbees, and then the rest will chalk up to promotion at tournaments, etc. You know, like, I doubt, you know, now that these brands are starting to, like, kind of have to tighten up the budget a little bit, I doubt they're worried about brand appearance and the optics of it all when they can't even meet their budget year to year.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're gonna have to start moving plastic. Like, I remember this 2 seasons ago, or maybe it was last season. Gannon and Alden and Gavin and all those guys that signed to Discmania were like, "Hey, Discmania is giving us a 15% off code. Go use it." And in my head, I was just like, "Oh, Discmania just wants to see like what their reach is. They just want to see how many fans will go buy plastic when they ask them to."
And you know what's crazy? You know what the craziest stat is? Out of everyone who, I think I'm okay to say this because it was, but out of everyone who did like the 20, who do you think did the best? Out of everyone you can think of.
There was some meme. I remember they were always commenting on each other's posts about it, and I don't remember which one of them it was, but I remember everyone was like on someone's side. So I assume it's not Gannon.
No,
my guess would be like Gavin.
No, it was
Gannon?
No, it was Alden because of the YouTube. It's just
okay.
Yeah.
He did the best,
surprised.
which was like, yeah, and it was just kind of like an eye-opening thing. Like, wow, like because he posted on his YouTube channel, and then I don't know what the scientific ROI is on that, but yeah, he beat the #1 player in the world, on like kind of the codes used. Like, I don't know exactly how much. It might have been like 20 versus 19, but I'm just saying I'm pretty sure Alden like had the best because of the YouTube.
Yeah, I mean, and the only reason I bring that up is because right now, like, these manufacturers are having to go off of like Tour Series sales for the most part, or like if they give an allotment to this player, how many of those discs in the allotment are they selling, you know? And so I wouldn't be surprised if maybe in the next year or 2 years they start doing these codes to track their ROI on their players.
Yeah.
Because like that's kind of what Vessi's doing with every player they sponsor. It's always like Vessi.com/J Millie, you know, or Vessi.com/Isaac, or Vessi.com/whatever player it is. They're doing that because they're paying them X amount of money, and they want to see X amount of money come out of that player. And so manufacturers might move towards that in the future. I wouldn't be surprised.
Here's a fun question. Which major manufacturer in disc golf do you think is putting out the best disc golf content right now? Does it feel like any of them are lacking, or any of them are making like conscious efforts? I have some
It's
thoughts,
hard.
but if you guys have any.
I think it's hard to say in the off season. It's like I think it's hard to. I mean, like, what is there to post in the off season realistically? But I don't know. I think standouts to me is like off the bat, I would think like MVP, Discraft. I mean, I feel like those are the two ones that everyone would say kind of are on top of their game in terms of like kind of like marketing slash content and stuff like that.
Yeah, my mind immediately goes to Latitude. I think they do the best job. I think that's kind of up to preference though, just because like I like a personal connection when I'm watching like a YouTube video. I want to feel connected to like who's making the video. And so like a Discraft and MVP, while they put out like high quality stuff, it's always someone else in the video. You know, it's a pro doing it in the bag or etc. And like with Latitude, it's like, oh hey, I've got Jonathan to kind of always see in every video. You know, if Discraft or MVP kind of had that. Oh, sorry, I have a upset baby. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but like if Discraft or MVP had that, I think it would really up the appeal to watch them. Because I bet if you go to Latitude's channel, they have as high of a ceiling as Discraft or MVP has, but they also have a much higher floor. And then I think if you go to like Discraft or MVP's channel, they have some videos with like crazy views, but then they also have videos probably with like a K or 2K. That's not going to happen on Latitude because people will watch every single video because of Jonathan. So
Yeah, I guess
I don't know. I
I've
feel
never
like that's a
seen a
cop-out
Latitude
answer, but-
video personally.
Oh, really?
So,
Wow.
yeah. No, I have, but like it hasn't been recommended to me. So when you said that, I didn't even know like they were consistently posting at all. Like I have not been recommended a Latitude video ever.
Yeah,
I
I've
don't
never
know why.
watched. If I'm
I
completely
feel like that
honest,
makes sense.
I've never really watched any of MVP's videos because I'm
Well,
not really recommending
Yeah,
them.
because they're more so like like practice round, I guess. But I think that what we've always said that's where we differ. I've always been fan of the pros, less so like content creator side when watching YouTube, and you're more so content creator. But yeah, I'll have to look into that. I literally, I obviously know of Jonathan and know of Latitude, but I didn't realize they were like consistently posting like kind of like you. I thought it was just, like
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know
like
why.
I think it's like once every 2 weeks ish.
Wow. Yeah, I had no idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they do a great job. That's such a good answer, Josh. Like that is, I feel like one of the few disc golf channels that actually they make content for casual disc golfers, whereas a lot of disc golf content is related to score or some sort of content with pros. The one that I was gonna say was Discmania because I feel like that's one that at least in this off season I've seen a major uptick in effort trying to put out content.
Yeah,
and shorts.
they picked up I don't know how to say his name, so I'm not even gonna try. So
Wait, who are you talking about? I know it's probably
Yeah.
difficult to explain if you can't say the name, but
so a major disc golf channel over in Finland, one of them, was sponsored by Discmania for a few years, and I believe last year, like mid-year, like right before the mystery box stuff started happening, I believe Discmania just hired the guy, and now he runs a lot of their content and marketing and stuff like that. And so like he's been the guy behind all the pushes for their mystery boxes and some of their new marketing and stuff like that. And so if you've seen an uptick, it's because they hired him, and he's been I think he's been doing a good job. So
yeah, very noticeable. Like it's enjoyable. It looks good. So yeah, kudos to him. Any closing thoughts? Sorry guys, we do have to close out in the next few minutes because we gotta get going. But any closing thoughts?
Well, I just wanted to say I went and looked, And I think what I said rings true because, you know, I go to MVP's channel and I look at some of the practice rounds and they have 45, 30, blah, blah, blah. But then I go to, what is this? A quick look back at Gyropalooza 2025, 860 views. That's never going to happen on Latitude's channel.
That's tough.
You know, granted, you know, in my personal opinion, I think MVP and Discraft should both do this. I think they should have, like, they both treat their channels as a marketing tool and a place to, like, kind of put content. I think they need to have a separate account for each, you know, because it looks like Discraft is saying Discraft times first form announcement, you know, Discraft times OTB Europe announcement. They need to have a channel that's like, here's all our announcements, here's our new disc drops, blah, blah, blah. And then they need to have a channel that's like, here's our practice rounds and our in the bags. And, you know, heck, if they hire someone like Jonathan, here's where we do the personal content, because that'll it'll be much more value to the consumer because, and it'll help them in the algorithm because, you know, posting a video called our highlights of Gyropalooza, yeah, it's going to get 860 views. It's a minute long. A minute long video on YouTube is never, ever, ever going to do well, you know, and they're just shooting themselves in the foot, in my opinion. Have two disc golf accounts and boom, solve the issue.
Yeah, that's tough. We'll have to talk more about this in the future. Thank you everyone for listening. We'll have to talk in a month because apparently we post each month at this point. Now we're looking forward to posting more often. We're looking forward to posting more often.
We'll be more consistent, please.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you guys. Funsie out. Until next time.
Bye.